Hey, Riddle here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a subscriber. I really appreciate you hanging in there and giving me your support with all your awesome comments and also teaching me. I think we live in a time that it's important that we keep our minds and hearts open to at least hear other people so we don't get further divided. That being said, I'm going to show you how I learned to make rose water. First of all, yeah, I do have the luxury of having quite a few roses because we bought a new house and roses just came along with it. And then I brought my roses over from the old house, and the next thing I knew, I had 31 roses. And I come from working poor, and I was taught not to waste anything. And I also, my whole life was an artist, and most people believe they're poor because they don't have money. But I never felt poor because I always had magic. I always had magic. And what I mean by magic is I see resources where other people don't see them. And when I saw these roses, I thought, okay, well, this is great. It's going to be a lot of work keeping them organic to grow them and keep the insects off of them and keep them happy, because roses are fussy as hell. But what can I do with them? Well, one of the things you can do with roses, if you keep them organic, meaning you don't put the hardcore pesticides on them and you don't use artificial fertilizers, is when you make a big salad, you go to let's say you're invited to someone's house, and you have a small garden, and you ask them, what can I bring? Or volunteer to bring the salad. And once you get your greens rinsed and the extra water taken off of them, put rose petals and flowers all through the top of it, and people will go nuts. Most people have never eaten a flower before, and they had no idea that roses are edible and really, really delicious. Man, that rooster's really trying to take my show. Goddamn rooster. I swear I'm going to sneak over there and strangle that thing one day. Anyways, so we're going to go inside because at some point, rose will actually last longer inside when you cut it fresh than it will outside. So what I do, because you'd think 30 rose bushes would be enough to make rose oil or rose water, but the fact is, it takes hundreds and thousands of them to get a good concentration of enough of the oil in the water to actually smell it and get the skincare benefits or the health benefits. People don't know that they sell rose tea in Asia. Roses are a natural anti-inflammatory and have been used for the skin, but also internal heat. They say it lowers your inner heat. So how are we going to hack the fact that we only have a dozen roses or 6 roses or 30 roses? Come into my home and I'm going to show you how to make really incredible rose water. And recently I've been making so much of this rose water that I've been able to give it away in bottles as gifts, and people are loving it. Let's see here. A couple days ago, actually turned on the winter switch again, and temperatures dropped in the evenings into the high 30s, low 40s. So had to get the fireplace going again. So these are the roses I cut today because we have rain coming. Now, the first thing you want to do is inspect your roses or give them a good rinse, because guaranteed if they're organic, there's going to be bad and good insects in it. One of the insects that loves to destroy roses is the European earwig. They're hideous. Also, in your garden, especially in the early springtime, if you notice that you're going out in the morning and everything is being destroyed, but you can't find any bugs, this is what you do. Wait till the sun goes down, let it be down for at least 2 to 3 hours. Go out with a flashlight, and I guarantee you everything will be covered with these horrible earwigs. And mix a solution of dish soap and ammonia and take a spray bottle with you, and you will be just spray that on them, and that will kill them naturally. So we also have ladybugs in here, so we don't want to kill our ladybugs or our regular bugs. But my point is, you want to give your roses a good rinse as best you can before you start your process. But a few bugs won't hurt anything because we're actually going to strain this when we're done also. It's best to break up your flowers. I cut them off there because I think there's still some smell and essence in the pistils and stamens, but you want to kind of break up your flowers so it's easy for them to cook down. Now, as for water, you want to use a good quality water, a distilled water, or if you have a triple osmosis water filter, that will do also. But this is the hack for if you don't have a lot of roses and you want to get a really nice concentrated rose water. Here, this has been infused with roses 4 times. So what I'm doing is I am using the same water in this jar every time I do my infusion. And then when I'm done, because it's being boiled or almost boiled, we're going to steep it. The hot water is going back into my canning jar and then into the refrigerator. And this way, even though I don't have thousands or even hundreds of roses, I can slowly, over a couple months, achieve a really nice concentrated rose water. So we're going to go ahead and get our, best to use stainless steel. We're going to get our flame going on a medium-high setting. And we're going to pour our water. Now, if you're starting from scratch, of course, you're going to fill your jar up with your just plain water. In this case, because I already have this infused, I'm going to use my rose water. And there's going to be a little bit of evaporation, so I'm going to use my triple osmosis and add a quarter more of a jar of water for safe cooking. Now, often when they show you how to make rose water online, they say to put a lid on this and have a bowl of ice cubes in the center, and then basically you'll have this condensation and the oil will drop down and concentrate in the center of it. Yeah. But again, that distilling process only works if you have like thousands and thousands of flowers. So I found that what I do, and I'm not going to be able to show you the whole process, but I definitely would put a lid on it because there are oils and essence that will escape when you're doing this. I'm going to go ahead and grab a wooden spatula. So we're just going to keep an eye on this. You don't want to boil it too hard. Like, you want to steep it, and once our petals are all wilted and have collapsed into our water, then we're going to shut the flame off and just let it cool to room temperature. Once it has cooled to room temperature and all of our petals have collapsed and are melted into our water, then you're going to get a fine, sure you are, you're going to get a fine aha, there it is. I use it a lot. You're going to get a fine, you can even use a tea strainer, but a fine strainer, because what you're going to do is you're going to take like a nice handful of the rose petals and you're going to squeeze them out as hard as you can, and you're going to squeeze it out again, and then you're going to take those, what's left over, and just put those in the compost or throw them back out in the garden. And you're going to do this till all your rose petals are gone. And then the water that's left over, you're going to pour through this fine strainer, because there may still be some bits and parts and bugs, and you don't want that. And then once you fill your jar up and it's safely at room temperature, because you don't want to put something too hot in a jar or in the refrigerator because it'll explode, you'll have terrible mess to clean up. Then you just put the lid back on and you put it back in the refrigerator. Keeping it in the refrigerator is going to keep the rose water from going bad, because it's an organic material. And every time you go through and you steep or boil these flower petals, it's also going to help to disinfect the water from any bacteria that's building up, because that's just kind of a natural thing that happens, and keep the water from going rancid. And once you have, your beautiful rose water at a comfortable temperature, then anytime you wash your face, or instead of using soap, use a light cloth or a cotton swab, and you use the rose water to clean your skin, or you just slather your face, just drench it, and the back of your neck and any part that's exposed to the sun with the rose water, and it is so gorgeous on the skin. And it will, oh man, it'll just make your skin so right. You can also drink it. You can infuse it into cocktails. You can infuse it into teas. Like I said before, do your research, but it is a non-toxic anti-inflammatory. So at this point, see what we got going on here? I'm going to shut my water off, and I'm going to get that lid on there. And we're going to let this just let the oils come off of those petals. And before we start squeezing those rose petals, the water out of those rose petals, make sure you wash your hands really well too. But we're going to take a spatula and we're going to clear all this condensation off the lid into our pot, because there will be a really beautiful essence of rose in what collects in the top of our lid. Okay, I think that covers it. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to squeeze out these rose petals and show you that process, but I think I've explained it pretty well. And because it'll take too long for this to cool down. And again, I let it you don't want to overboil it, because you're going to destroy the essence. You can see exactly where I took it to, and you can see how it's collecting on the top of the lid. And as soon as this is room temperature and comfortable to touch, that it's not going to burn my hand, I will go in and squeeze all this essence out of these roses and strain the water, and I will have a super high quality rose water. This will be the 5th time that I have used my flowers from the garden, and every time I do it, it gets stronger and stronger. There's more oils, and it smells so good. And again, luxury item that people overlook all the time. You can buy rose water at the store, of course, but when you can make it yourself, and what a great gift. When I give people a big bottle of this, they're just kind of like, what? And, just kind of explain to them how to use it. And, so many people, especially so many women, they work so hard, and they take care of our children, and they take care of our communities, and they just don't think about giving themselves that gift of self-care and self-love. And this is such a natural and wonderful gift of self-love to give someone that you care about. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you have it in your heart to give it a thumbs up and to share it. And if you like my quick money-saving tips, home fix-it, garden wisdom, occasional political rants and raves, and the ever occasional magic, please subscribe. It helps. I want you to take care of yourselves and take care of each other, because I believe how we treat each other in the streets is our ultimate reality. Ooh, I can't wait to smell this. Bye for now. You smell this with me. Ooh.